All right, guys, happy Saturday. I'm running a solo dolo episode here. We had a plan to do some recording on Thursday night. Um, then the Bengals started playing, and well, I got wrapped into the equation of watching that game. We had then discussed um, doing a show late last night. Myself and Jim, um, Jim and I forgot to touch base um, earlier in the afternoon. So we pivoted. Jim, I believe, was playing golf this morning. Joe, I believe, is at work. If he's not at work now, he's on his way to work. So this is a solo dolo of yours truly. We'll talk a little bit about what happened this past week, leading in to a quick Survivor Series preview. Just trying to make sure that I have all of my proper things set up here because uh, solo dolo episode, me bouncing around to a bunch of things. If you haven't already, follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow Jim at Big Jim Sports. You can follow myself over on Twitter at They Call Me Burn. Otherwise, again, we're going right into this thing. The week that was, um, not a ton took place in the regards of what happened on Monday Night Raw. Um, but some big things happened on Friday Night SmackDown, including an old school Survivor Series match. Some AEW stuff took place. Full Gear was this past weekend. Um, as I set all this stuff up, you guys are seeing all a bunch of the back end stuff here because, you know, this is what I get to do by myself. Monday Night Raw this past Monday saw Gunther beat Carmelo Hayes, Rey Mysterio over JG Wentworth, Toyota Sequoia over Penta, who was injured. Um, Conflicting reports on that. Some say 6 to 8 weeks. Some say it'll only be out a little bit. Then I have Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul over the Usos to give the heels the advantage inside the War Games chamber tonight. We kind of knew that Gunther was going to win that match. Credit to WWE for giving that match more than 8 minutes. Jokingly enough, I spoke to one of my bosses who's a big wrestling fan as well. I said over under 7.5 minutes that match would be, and pleasantly surprised that it was over 7.5. So shout out to WWE at least for not squashing all the momentum of Carmelo Hayes. We had night 2 of Gold Rush on Tuesday. Jackson Drake retained the Evolve title. Fallon Henley won the Speed title. Li Ying Lee, the former Xia Li, has taken the TNA title back there. Kendall Gray over Laney Reed and Miles Bourne won the final spot in the Iron Survivor by defeating Trick Williams. Over on AEW, we had the old AEW Thanksgiving Eve. Kyle Fletcher, John Moxley, Kevin Knight, Claudio Castagnoli, the new CMLL World Champion, Claudio Castagnoli. More on that in a minute. They all won their first matches. The Babes of Wrath advanced to the finals of the tag team tournament. All right, let's get to last night's episode of SmackDown. We saw a Survivor Series old school match. The MFTs of JC Mateo, Solo Sikoa, Tala Tonga, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa defeated the Machine Guns, Ray Phoenix, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Good match. Enjoyed it. What I got to watch of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. 20 minutes. Solo Sikoa, the final survivor. Post match, he was met off by the Wyatt Six, which I think that's going to be something that we see leading into potentially WrestleMania season. I don't necessarily know that I love it, but it's a movement here. I thought this was going to actually be the match at tonight's show inside the War Games. Thankfully, it didn't get rushed into that. Intriguing to see what happens next when it comes to that match. AAA had a show. It was headlined. It had El Grande Americano defeat El Hijo del Vikingo. Easy for me to say. They came out post match. The Americanos. We set up El Hijo versus Dragon Lee at their next show. That looks like it could be a fun match. I mentioned over at the CMLL Vernes Especulara, Claudio Castagnoli won the CMLL World Heavyweight Champion from Gran Guerrero, who had held the title for 1,117 days. He had taken it off of Hechicero back in 2022. Claudio, the new champion there. Interesting to see what they do with him and the Death Riders, because I think Yep, there we go. I'm back. I lost my headphones for a minute. I am back. Sorry for that delay. Intriguing to see what they do with Claudio, especially because I think he might become the new leader of the Death Riders sooner rather than later, especially after what happened at Full Gear with Jon Moxley losing to Kyle O'Reilly once again. Yeah, so that's kind of the weekend that was. Now let's get to the upcoming show and the main reason behind this show. It is the War Games. It is tonight from San Diego Petco Park. Fitting that I'm wearing a Padres t-shirt while I record this. I don't love the fact that it's only a 5-match show, but I get the reason why, because of the War Games match. This, you have all the champions in the War Games. You have a women's title match. You have John Cena's final PLE match. Actually, it's only a 4-match card. Oh wow, even worse. Would have thought we would have at least gotten something else in there with it. Maybe throughout the night they'll add something. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too late to add something. But we'll see where it goes from there. We'll start with the 2 matches that are not inside the War Games. Stephanie Vaquer defends the WWE Women's World Title against Nikki Bella. I don't know a world where Nikki Bella wins this match. Steph just got the belt. It feels like she needs a win here over a proven former champion to help build the build for her, because I do think that she's going to be in the main event picture headed into WrestleMania season and potentially have a title match at WrestleMania. So that being said, I'll take Steph to retain. Would not be surprised if there is a post-match run-in from somebody, whomever may be next for the belt. Maybe it'll be someone making their return, and someone that I think returns in the other match, which we'll pivot to right now. John Cena defends the Intercontinental title against former champion Dominic Mysterio. And I think it's time for Liv Morgan to make her return. And maybe this is Liv then makes a statement about wanting to fight Stephanie Vaquer for the title. I also think that this could be a logical spot where the larger rift in the Judgment Day becomes more apparent. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Roxanne Perez on one side. Then you have Liv and Dom on the other side, and Raquel Rodriguez kind of being like, I'm friends with everybody. So that's an intriguing storyline to see how that plays out. I do think that if Liv Morgan makes her return tonight, it's going to be to help Dominic Mysterio win back the Intercontinental title. To be fair, also, I don't know that Gunther, the projected winner of the Last Time Is Now tournament now, really needs to win. Pardon me, win the title that he set the record for having the longest title run with in the IC title from John Cena. Beating Cena enough is the payoff to that tournament. Winning a title belt with it just doesn't feel like it's an absolute necessity. So with that being said, I'm going to take Dom to win the belt back here. But I do think that there is going to be a hefty amount of shenanigans. We will then go to the War Games. 2 matches. We'll start first with the women's War Game match. It is going to be the Team Kabuki Warrior. It is Asuka, Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax taking on AJ Lee, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. Yeah, sign me up for the faces to win this match. And I think it's more because the heels are going to be sick and tired of Becky Lynch's shit by the time they get to that point in the match. Wouldn't be surprised to see them leave her high and dry and see that AJ Lee beats Becky Lynch to keep that moving in a direction leading into WrestleMania, because I do think that that is a WrestleMania match. The men's War Games has a lot more questions. It's Team CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and the Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, and The Vision, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul, with the wise man Paul Heyman. And here's the questions that are afoot when it comes to that. Whose side is Jey Uso really going to end up on? Is this where Jey Uso decides, I'm out and I'm going heel and I'm going to turn on Jimmy, who he didn't seem too thrilled to be in the match, who cost them the advantage because he was pinned? Is it him turning on Roman because he's finally over Roman? Is it him turning on CM Punk? Something that they've kind of teased ever since those guys have fought for the world title countless times. The only person I don't think Jay turns on is Cody. So I have my questions in that regard. Is this a inside the War Games he turns and directly affects the outcome of the match? Is this a Dakota Kai Tegan Knox he turns on somebody inside the shark cage when he comes out? I mean, I think there's some questions afoot when it comes to Jey Uso in this match. That being said, I don't necessarily know where to go with the result from this match. Obviously, if Jay turns, I think the heels are victorious. I don't know that the heels have to win in this regard. I think, there are certain people that are in this match that go unharmed by eating a fall. Looking at you, Logan Paul. Looking at you, Jimmy Uso. I know the cool thing to keep saying right now is that Drew McIntyre is going to pin Cody Rhodes, and it's going to set up another match between the two of them. Be brutally honest with you, their matches have been fine. The matches have been entertaining, but I'm good. I'm real good on them having another match, probably at Royal Rumble, which then leads to Drew McIntyre probably losing another title match, which would do more harm than good for him. And that's a concern that I have for Drew. And that's an issue that I have with Drew McIntyre's character right now. I do think Drew deserves to win a world title, but I don't know that we have him win it at WrestleMania to lose it inside the chamber, because I don't know that Drew McIntyre is a WrestleMania 42 main eventer. And that's a bigger problem. I think that poster that they put out with Roman and Brock and Cody and Punk, we talked about it on this show. We're like, who do you think those guys are going to face at WrestleMania? And that's a concern. Drew McIntyre wasn't built into that equation. And that being said, I don't know that Drew McIntyre is a world champion going into Las Vegas at this point. I think you look at it and it's the same. I have bigger questions for Drew McIntyre than I do the Jey Uso questions from last year. And that's just because, simply put, Drew is good. I love Drew in ring, but the character, the microphone talk from Drew McIntyre can be missed unless he becomes part of the Vision, which, for a lack of better terms, I don't think fits the Vision. Um, I just got a text from our good friend Craig. He hates the fact that there's only four matches on the show tonight. I am not a fan of it, especially if you're making people pay for ESPN and the ESPN Plus and the Super Plus and the Go Ultimate Plus. Sometimes you have to give them more bang for their buck. Young Bucks, pun intended. But I'm not going to sit here and say that that's the reason why I'm against this show. I think I'm against the show because it took too long to get the builds into this thing. And I think I'm also now trying to figure out what the next moves are coming out of the War Games and coming out of what's going to happen. Yeah, you like that under the neck shot? That's a good one. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for watching. My concern here now, as I itch my neck, because now they brought it up, I'm confused on if the faces win, what's the disconnect? Is it Brock Lesnar? Is it Brock is going to turn and be like, well, Paul turned on me, so I'm out? Or is this a Drew McIntyre going to go rogue kind of thing? Or is this just there's too many faces on the other side to lose this match? And that's my question that I have. And that's where I get to what I think actually happens. Jimmy Uso will not be in this match tonight. Jimmy Uso will get taken out prior to the teams going into the shark cage. There will be a pivot. The fifth man, I believe, will be Randy Orton. And I believe Randy Orton will turn on Cody Rhodes, setting up Randy versus Cody for the title. And in the title picture, I'll take the easy. Braun Breaker probably gets the pin on someone. I don't know whom. But I take Randy Orton to be the reason why the faces fall to the Vision, McIntyre and Lesnar. I don't think that Randy's joining the Vision. Let's be transparent about that. I think this is Randy going into business for Randy. And I think this is Randy becoming, I've been your friend for too long for you not to at least offer me a title shot. You've done that with all your other friends. Why am I different? So I think Randy goes into business for himself. I think Randy then determines himself to be the guy to take on Cody Rhodes at Royal Rumble. Potentially a Randy Orton win, potentially a Randy Orton championship appearance, walking in with a title at WrestleMania, which I think could be really good, really cool for Randy. So yeah, with that being said, I'll take Team Vision to get the victory after some chicanery. That is the Survivor Series preview. No wrestlers of the week this week because it is an abbreviated solo dolo show. The Fantasy Wrestling League is in its last week. I hold a lead over Tim. We'll bring that back probably at the end of the year / beginning of 2026, whenever we have our awards episode, the Takies, which will be back for its next go round, including the Wrestler of the Year, which we need to go over the bracket for that internally. This is my reminder as I go back and listen to this in a couple of days to remember what I was going to do. Next week's show, we will have obviously the recap of what happens tonight at Survivor Series. We'll finish off our Survivor Series elimination team bracket that we were doing. For those of you that have been following along with that is the bracket where it was the elimination the matches. The final four is where we were at with that. And it was a good final four. Team Bischoff versus the women's NXT team, and the Hart family versus the Royal family. Those were the two semis. We'll go over that in the finals on next week's show. We will recap what happened at Survivor Series, because I do think it'll be a big one. We will also discuss the John Cena retirement tour, as we will then be under 10 days away, or we'll be just about 10 days away from the final match of the John Cena Last Time Is Now retirement tour. That one sucks. Not gonna lie. It's starting to become a lot more real. I had attempted to find a way to try to get to DC for that show. It just doesn't look like it's going to be feasibly possible. $400 for a ticket in the upper deck behind the entrance stage. In today's economy, with three kids and other things going on at home, it just doesn't seem like that's something that's going to be possible. But I do have the night off, so it's a very strong chance that there's a post-show episode of this show. But we'll discuss that on next week's episode. But as I said at the beginning of the show, we appreciate you guys, as always, for listening to us. We appreciate you guys following along. You can follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. You can follow Jim at Big Jim Sports over on the Twitter. Linktree there for all of his other projects, including Huddle Up, 3CT with the guys over there, discussions with the Nobody, and all the other fun stuff he has going on. Joe, I can't share his links because that'll get us kicked off of every other market that we haven't been kicked off of yet. So enjoy Survivor Series tonight, what there is of it. Enjoy the last chapters of the John Cena retirement tour. If you're in San Diego, enjoy the show. If you are not, watch it with some friends. Enjoy the moment. We will be back on Thursday night in our usual time slot, somewhere between 10:30 and 10:45, over on Twitch and over on the YouTube Live. Appreciate all you guys who have listened internally. Want to watch us live? Those are your places to watch us. Until then, for Jim and Joe, I am Mike. We will see you next time on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.